อ and aligned to allow for good energy flow. Hold and breathe out. Also release any emotion without attaching any other meaning to them. Breathing in and out deeply. This may also take its time. Pick one to start with. Visualize the change you want.